everyone, this episode is sponsored by Fight Energy. Fight is your all-in-one go-to health drink. Fight is not only just an energy booster, it is a mood booster as well. So with your daily dose of vitamins, nootropics, 0 calories, it is your all-in-one health drink. I drink Fight every day. My clients drink it. Someone you probably know drinks it. And you guys, what I'm offering for as we get into 2025, we're doing a discount for 25% off your first order if you type in LYB. Okay, so we'll know that you came from the podcast, and that way we can make sure you get some Fight Energy and some other little goodies thrown in there too. So if you get a chance, we would love to know which team you are. Are you team strawberry? Are you team blueberry? Hey everyone, welcome to the LYB podcast. On today's episode, it is a solo episode. It is the week of Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm so excited. How you feeling?
I'm good. What's up?
Yeah.
Solo and a half.
Yeah, Logan's on here, you know, for when I am at a loss for words, which always happens.
Yeah, you at a loss for words, that's for sure. That's
right.
I'm not sure about that. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
I know. I'm excited. I don't really feel like it's real though, because I knew this was going to happen because October was just jam packed. And I kept looking at that on my calendar being like, man, it's going to go by so quickly that it'll just be here before we know it, you know? And I feel like that whole thing that I would hear when I was younger, that the older you get, the faster time goes. I'm like, it really does.
Well, you got more stuff going on too, so you're busy.
Yeah.
You're occupied, but it definitely does.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's weird.
And yeah, so I don't know, but like, I'm excited though. We just finished the Fight for What You Want challenge, which was great. For those listening that don't know, I do 3 challenges every year, no matter what. But sometimes I add a couple other ones in there, like shorter ones. But this one, we have the Get Your Movement In, which is going to start in January. So January 6th is the next one. And then we have the Love Your Body. So it goes with the seasons of Dandy Fitness. So get your movement in the beginning of the year, love your body throughout the summer. And then we have the Fight for What You Want, which is in September, or like the fall months. And so it usually starts in September. But yeah, we did 10 weeks of 10,000 steps a day. So when you saw me with my watch and all my stuff, you know, every day getting them in. And it doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, but the biggest thing I noticed was that, like, especially because when dealing with like autoimmune stuff, right? You have days where you're just more lethargic than others. Like I just chugged some Fight because needed it. And so for me, it was one of those things of like, I wanted to see, could I be consistent across the board? Because there were certain days where I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm gonna roll out, do my workout, but then I'm gonna sit here and just like, that's it. Like I can work from my computer, you know? And so this was actually really good. So I started 2 weeks before the challenge just to see how it would be. And yeah, like I started walking to Carbon to the gym. So I'd walk to the gym, which is like, I mean, it's like a 4-minute drive, but like, you know,
from here.
Yeah. So it's right down the road.
Oh, okay.
It's like the nation's one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I walk there, and that takes me about 50 minutes.
I think walking to Murfreesboro is a little bit more than
there's 3 different Carbons.
Oh,
yeah. And so I walked to there, and then which would take me like 45, 50 minutes, whatever. And then from there I would work out and then walk back. So then I'd get my steps in, right? And so that was something that I started doing. I started implementing when I would do like my virtual sessions, you know, whatever. Go for a quick little walk while I'm talking to them and doing that. So that helped out. But really it was like looking at parts of my day that I could just carve out even like 20 minutes, you know, to like go real quick, do a mile, come back. Cause really it's the equivalent of like, I mean, I would say like 5 miles total, right? Cause 2,000, let's do the math here. 2,000, I'm saying this wrong. Steps is like 1 mile. Is that right? And then yes, and then 5 miles will be 10,000 steps. Yeah. So basically,
like 5 miles of walking a day, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Which for some people, they're probably listening like, oh, that's nothing or whatever. But like, you do have to still be intentional about it, right?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a little bit. That sounds like a lot. I mean, especially if you're like doing a challenge like that, and maybe you're like wanting to start with something like that. Maybe you wouldn't expect it to be that much.
Well, and being consistent about it too, like doing it every day. And so what was great was I had started 2 weeks before, and I was like, okay, got this. I'm gonna like nail it, gonna do it. And because I love to do my like challenges with my challengers, and so we'd never done this before because I try to make every challenge different. And like the premise is the same. Like we're trying to love our body throughout, try to get movement in, and we're trying to like have a goal, right? So fight for what you want. That's like what the goal part of it is. And so this next one, and actually, you guys, we're gonna announce the winners winners. So stay tuned for that. So if you're listening to this podcast right now to find out if you won or not, I will announce it soon. But basically, I had sponsors from Clone Apparel, who I'm wearing their leggings right now, and they've been on the podcast. So that person that won that will get a free like full outfit, as well as I think we're doing either alpha cookies with that one or and they'll be on the podcast soon, so we get to check them out. And then Grab the Gold, and we just had Danielle on. So basically, like all my sponsors who've been on the podcast. And then I Relief Therapeutics. No, that's gonna be for the Fight Challenge. So that's the next one, or for the Get Your Movement Challenge. So I have the Clone Apparel and the Grab the Gold, and then giving away alpha cookies. I have so many prizes, and then giving.
This is all for your first place.
But this is no. That's for 3 different ones.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
there's 3 winners, and then one person who wins is going to get to come on the LYB podcast.
Very nice.
So I thought that was going to be cool, right? So I thought that was like something different, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And and then for the next challenge, still getting all that together, you guys. But that one is going to start January 6th. We're going to announce it the week after Thanksgiving, so stay tuned for that. And then on that one, it's going to be a 12-week challenge. So this one's going to be a little bit longer. And it's going to be more about consistency, which is going to be great in terms of actually like putting pen to paper with some stuff. So it's going to be cool. And and everyone's welcome. I always say everybody can do any of my challenges because you can modify, you can advance, like however you need to do it. And really like the biggest part of this one was just literally all they had to do was post a story on a Monday and then do an actual post on a Friday. So basically 1 post a week, and literally like, again, it's an honor system, you know, in terms of the 1,000 steps or whatever. And I even told people that if they couldn't get 10,000 steps in, they could just do 10 minutes of movement a day. So whatever your goal was, doing that each day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so then we checked on it to see. So literally someone could have like, not that my people did this, but someone could have not done anything and just posted every Friday and still be the enter to win.
Yeah. Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But
so the people that complete it, then you randomly draw it? Is that how you do
yes.
it?
So
Okay,
I do.
gotcha.
Yeah. Just because like I have clients that do it too. So it's not just like only random people on social media or whatever, or followers. It's like, there's just more work of people, right?
Yeah,
some I've never met before in real life. Some I've met, and see every week multiple times. So I just want to be fair, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And now if like only one person would have stayed consistent the whole time and done the post and whatever and stuff, then like obviously they would have won. Mm-hmm. But we had 10 people stay in it.
Did all of it. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is really awesome. It
yeah.
really is. It's hard to get people, obviously to sign up for this, much less go all the way through and finish it. And
yeah. Because usually my challenges, for those listening, like usually are anywhere from like 15 to 30 people. And so it just depends on which, the challenge. Some get more and some get, like more people usually do the Get Your Movement challenge than like the Love Your Body challenge. So it just depends.
Beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What'd you say?
The Get Your Movement is beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year. Yeah. Which I think is great. And like I said, there were so many times with this challenge with the 10,000 steps that like even I because like I said, I wasn't getting 10,000 steps on certain days. Mm-hmm. Just because I was like down for the count or I didn't have clients or whatever. So for me, like really looking at it, I'm like, there was 5 days probably, maybe only 3, but really that I was just like, this ain't it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm tired. It's raining. It got cold. I don't want to do it, right? I had too many things going on or whatever. So now it's just one of those things where it's like, and now I'm like, oh man, how many steps did I get? Like it's exciting. Yeah.
It's like a game you're playing with yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And like we all together, everybody has, so many different goals. So it's cool to like I said, to have something to look forward to, especially if you're not a competitor, you're not in bodybuilding, you're not doing like a sport, maybe you're been in your healthy lifestyle journey for years and you're just kind of like, I need a shake up. Because a lot of the people too that do my challenges, they work with other coaches and trainers. Like they don't even get trained by me, but they're like, but I'll do a DDF challenge.
Right.
And that's cool. And that's when I'm like, love that. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, I'm not trying to steal your clients.
Yeah. Right.
Like, not that they would even talk to me, but like, that's the whole thing is people are so ridiculous about stuff that like, I try to be like, guys, we all can win.
Right. Well, first of all, you're supposed to be a trainer. Like at the end of the day, you're like, you should want that for your.
Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like
it's a movement challenge.
If you're not offering a challenge, like my whole thing is like this. I'm not a massage therapist,
right.
So I outsource that to my massage therapist. Right. Okay. I am not a chiropractor, so I outsource that. Whatever. So if you're a trainer that doesn't do challenges or whatever. Mm-hmm. then why isn't it an issue?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right? And so
and
there's
you're not
that.
doing like take a shot a day challenge.
Yeah, and then it's also like, yeah, it's just going to only be an added benefit. So I like to look at Dani Fitness as like that there's so many ways that people can become a part of the mission, right? So whether that is listening to this podcast and subscribing on YouTube, thank you. Please go do it now. If you're listening, please go subscribe on YouTube.
Please.
It means a lot. Tell your friends to do it as well. But
if
like,
you have a Google account, I just want to say this real quick. If you have a Google account, you already have a YouTube account.
Thank
whenever
you.
Whenever you go to log in, it'll say sign in with your Google account.
Yeah.
You hit that button, and then like you don't have to create a channel. You already have an account by having a Google account. So if you sign in with like those 2 clicks, then you just hit
which,
subscribe.
by the way, guys, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not YouTube savvy, and so that's what Logan's here for. So by all means, you have that. So please go do it.
And that's the case for a lot of things. Like the Patreon that we talk about a lot of times too. You can also sign in with Google there. So a lot of things. Like whenever we ask for engagement or subscription or subscribers and that kind of thing, I promise it's just a couple clicks away.
It's 2 seconds. Yes.
But it helps a lot. Like like that, just couple seconds of hitting that button helps us out a ton.
And that's what like I wanted to say is that so here's what, like, for example, let's go through it. So Dani Fitness offers, the YouTube. So for podcasts, everything like that. The book on how to live your body throughout. Okay. That's a great tool to have, especially around the holidays. You can get that on Amazon. It's $10. You could also get it in Kindle or whatever, and it's $7. Okay. So that's an easy, like, stocking stuffer, things for Christmas, whatever. Give to your niece, give to your sister, give to, whoever, nephew, whoever you want to do that for. But like, there's that. You can, but if you want to become an online program client, like I'm taking online program clients, would love to have you. That is my least expensive option in terms of training wise. Okay.
Online clients.
And online program. And that's me literally looking at you and saying, Logan, let's go through your whole life. Like, tell me what your stressors are. Tell me all your things. We have a consult. We set that up. And then from there, I go through and I customize what you have. If you're like, I got a home gym, but like, I'm not going to do that. I need to do the work gym or whatever. Cool. Send a video. All the equipment's in there. I'm going to program for you. So you're not sitting there looking at some plan being like, I don't have half this stuff. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And then also me being like prescribing you, this is what, like, the range is what you need to be in. So you're not sitting there completely lost and like hurt yourself. Also, I do it through Google Docs. So for me, it's like real-time accountability. So like right now, if somebody comments, like I get a notification on it and they're asking, hey, what is this? Or how do I do this? Or just to let you know, I'm feeling really empowered today. Like, then we're talking. So the accountability is there. You see what I'm saying? So I love that, right? And then on top of that, and I get back to them like pretty immediately. And then on top of that, they just can also write notes on there. So that way each week they can progress themselves. But then also I can see that and see where the inconsistencies and then help them so I can program for the next month. And so that's my 6-month deal that I do for people. So that's online programming is for a 6-month agreement. That is the only offering that I do that is contract based. And that is only because I want to be able to progress them. You see what I'm saying? And not just give them a plan. They do it for a month and then I never see them again. Right. For sure. Because our lives change.
Yeah.
The seasons change. Right. Things call for different. Maybe you're losing the weight and then now you need to maintain. Mm-hmm. Or maybe now you are, you're putting on the muscle, but then you're like, I'm good here, whatever. Or you're like, I'm going to go run a half marathon now. Never done that before. Like, you see what I'm saying? I literally program depending on what their needs are and how it changes. The other part of that is, and then I'd say that the cheapest payment option would be like a challenge in terms of like, if you want to be a part of the mission, but you're like, really, like, I'm not wanting to do in-person training, or I already have a trainer, or whatever that might look like.
Or you just want to dip your toe in.
But or you just want to dip your toe in.
Something that's related to.
Yes, exactly. And like, just to start something fun and have a community support, I put everybody into an Instagram, like, online community. And basically from there, everyone's in it together. They're starting off. And that's why a lot of my girls, like, when I look at like, they'll send me testimonials and they're like, this was, one of my girls was like, if you would have told me that I'd be able to love myself by the end of this challenge, like, I would have laughed in your face. Mm-hmm. And that was like a challenge, a 10-week challenge. Right, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Or there's people that are like, I lost, X amount of weight and like, I can't believe I stuck with it. Like, there's just so many breakthroughs that happen. Or they're literally like, I will always do a challenge because of the supportive community. Because that's something too. Because you can have a trainer and feel very alone. Mm-hmm. You can have people around you that work out and feel very alone. Right. To really have an authentic, real community that just keeps it real. That's like, hey, yeah, it sucks. Like we're like midway through and this feels like it's going on forever or whatever, right? Yeah. Like it is different. And so that's what I love. And all the people are different bodies, sizes, ages, walks of life, different cities, states. I've had people out in, I got people out in Wisconsin. I got people out in California. I got people in New York to do challenges. I mean, I got people in Florida, Alabama, like every, place. And that's what's so cool too, is it doesn't have to be local, Right. So that's why I love the challenges. If you follow me on Instagram. It's cool to think about
somebody in Wisconsin and New York, like getting their steps and like, but they're doing that because of the challenge that, that you put on here. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Right. And then from there, then if you want to look at, okay, my most expensive offering is going to be in-person personal training or virtual training. Okay. It's the same price. And I do it as a minimum of 4 sessions each month. And so that way the people who are doing it stay accountable. They see progress, right? And it's that like check-in.
Yeah, I was about to say, just like so they see you at least once a week.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then in terms of like my like favorite type of client, which I love. I mean, I love like seeing my in-person people, obviously, but the like my goal even for like 2025 going into things is to have more of and these are the people that I feel like it's just a sweet spot in terms of accountability and like progress, right? That I'm noticing is my online program clients that see me once a week. Okay. Whether that's in person as well, or that's virtual. Like I got people in different states and whatever that I see every week, but they also do online program. So they know what is expected of them every day that they're not with me.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. So they have they have it when they're away from you, but then they also come see you. Versus,
so then it's like a check-in and be like, hey, do you see like
just one or the other?
Yes.
And then if they come in person once, the other 4 days they don't really know what they're doing or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, I do help them, like people that are in person that may only see once or twice a week. I do help them kind of program, but it's not the same accountability.
Right.
Like when I see the online program, I'm like, I saw that you didn't do it.
Right.
What's up?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like,
makes sense.
something going on, like you haven't worked out. And so like versus, again, it's just that extra layer. Yeah. And so I love that. So that's a great add-on. The other thing I was going to say to you guys is if you're listening to this, so this will still be going on up until Cyber Monday. We're doing 2-for-1, so fight sales, which is great. And so
that's a good deal.
Yes, 100%. Usually it's $45 per one canister. Plus, by the time you do shipping and all the stuff and whatever, then it ends up adding up. So this is a great deal to get you 2 canisters. So you can mix and match. You can get blueberry and then strawberry, or you get both strawberry, whatever, or both blueberry. Either way, that's been great. So getting that all done.
You also get discounts on Fight if you're a Patreon subscriber.
Yes, you get discounts on Fight if you're Patreon subscriber.
Throwing that out there. Just saying.
Yep.
Just saying.
And so like, and that's the other thing too, is like, I think people forget that and also I do have some of I'm wearing my LYB hoodie right now, so on the back it says love your body, so I do have a few of those left too. So if you're interested in that, make sure to DM me. I can send that out. And I have long sleeve love your body shirts and Move Fit tanks still left, so trying to get everything like wrapped up the end of the year and everything. But before we go into that, the rest of that, I do want to announce the winners, just because if they're listening, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, and like I said, these people literally, like, it's so great that this happened because I just did the spin wheel and everything like that. But these people really like gave it their all with this challenge. And I'm just very proud of them. And it's been really cool to watch them just get after it. So the first person I'll announce that's gonna be that's gonna get the clone apparel and the alpha cookies is gonna be Kelly. So Kelly's my client and she's awesome.
Shout out Kelly.
Yes, and
you won. Congratulations! Yeah. Oh my gosh!
I know.
How do you feel?
Right, exactly. How do you feel? But Kelly's been great. She's been working with me since I think like 2020. Maybe 2020, 2021, something like that. But yeah, like she used to be like an active runner, and then she got more into like wanting to be strong and things like that. But from New Jersey originally, and then now lives here. Just recently got engaged, so super cool. But yeah, so we'll get you the alpha cookie sent to you and the clone apparel, and then we got Heather Ham. She is the second winner.
Second place winner. Shout out Heather.
Yes,
you won second place. Woo!
She's the one that lives in. She lives in Wisconsin, and also there's not a first, second, third place. There's equally.
These are all winners. Okay, that's my bad. Yes, they're all winners. No first, second place.
Yes,
all
this is just the 3 in the order that I did them and whatever. So Heather, grabbed the gold, and the fight. So you're going to get that Scentsy. And she's been drinking fight for years, so she'll love that. But I think she has like 4 kids.
Very nice.
Like, and so
Very
she's
nice.
like,
She needs that
because I
fight.
remember after she was pregnant with the last one, and she was like, I can't wait. Literally, I can't wait to start drinking fight again. You know how people are like, oh, I can't wait to have a sandwich, or I can't wait to like have sushi. She's like, give me the fight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, awesome. Oh my gosh.
She needs all the cancer she can get.
And also, you guys, you can drink fight up until I think it's to like the second trimester. Just saying. But yeah. Okay. And so just for anybody wondering.
I'm just going to tuck that one back in. I don't know any advice on that one. I'm just going to.
But yeah. And then the person who is going to be our guest, I don't know when they're going to come on or like, when that's going to happen, but is Vera. So Vera is one of my clients. She was here in the for the photo shoots and everything that we did. Okay. I think you met her as well. Familiar. Yeah. And she's been at plenty of stuff, and she's come to MoveFit, everything like that. And yeah, so I'm very excited to have her on.
I will see you soon then. If you're coming on the podcast, I will see you soon. I will be able to ask you how you feel as a woman.
Yep. So that'll be great. And then, so I'm super excited. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, like cool, awesome. Right? And
when did you start doing challenges?
I started. Man, that's a good question, because I started my business in 2017, and then I probably didn't start challenges. It would have been after COVID. So really probably in 2021.
And did you do it like the 3 and the seasons the way you're doing it now? Mm-hmm.
For sure did that. They definitely, the durations look different at times. Yeah, it was because 2021. Yes, because I remember we did so basically we do MoveFit as like the end party, like once it's done for the year one, or for the when it's like usually in March. So definitely remember the 2022 and 2023 one, 2024. So, but yeah, and we'll do those like at sponsors locations and stuff like that. Oh, also I think Ensemble's going to sponsor us too. I have so many sponsors for this next one. Y'all are going to be getting it's a lot. So
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, like massages, I think some meals, I know for sure I have a cookies, grab the gold, Element tea packets.
How have you seen the challenges grow and change? Like, I don't want to make an assumption, I guess, but I would assume that you have more people participating in them now, and maybe more people finishing them than were before, or something anything like that.
So that's noticed? The thing is, I think that I thought in the beginning, okay, this is something that I can grow, that will eventually, we start at 10 people, then we get to 20, then we get to 30. It really isn't like that. I got my avid members, okay, that are they do it every challenge. They're probably going to be in it unless something crazy happened, right? And so I have those people. And then from there, so it's like a base. And then from there, all the rest are always different.
Kind of rotate in and out.
And they come back through or whatever. And so they rotate, and which is cool. And I like that. Keeps it fresh, keeps it fun. But it usually is around the people. I really don't think I've ever had a challenge that had more than 30 people. And so again,
that's a lot. I still think for something like that, that's a lot. That's a good number of people.
And that's the thing is, someone listening may be like, oh, well, I have thousands of people, or I have hundreds of people. That's great for you. I don't know how to get more people involved, truthfully. I don't know if ads would really help, because I've done that before on Facebook and it never really did. And Instagram, whatever. It really is word of mouth and it's referral. So it really comes down to, does Danielle have enough time to reach out? Because I reach out to everyone individually, and I say, hey, I know I've been posting about it. I put it in my stories. I know you see what I see. I see you seeing it. So I know that you see it. But on top of that, we have newsletters that go out weekly about it. Then we also, on top of that, have me reaching out to those people individually. Hey, Logan, I would love to have you a part of the challenge. Right. It's gonna be great. You know what I mean? So really, it comes down to me doing those things, and just.
I think 30 people again. I really do think that 30 people trying to keep trying to onboard them for a challenge, keeping up with them. Then you got to align each challenge with all your sponsors, and then you have to,
there's a lot to it, right?
There's a lot to it. So if you had 150 people, I'm sure you wouldn't say no to that.
Would be thrilled, but
you wouldn't say no to that. But it's oh my Lord, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and again,
I think that's a good number. I really do.
Thank you. And again, too, I would love to obviously keep it growing and stuff like that. So, but I just think that it comes down to the marketing behind it. I don't really. I mean, literally, we just ended this one. Okay, November 22nd, right, is when the final day of it. Okay,
you got like a month to fill it.
And then literally, I'll have till December like 18th or so to get people signed up for the next one. So really, I only allow myself like 3 to 4 weeks maybe to get people in. You know what I'm saying?
Is that always the window?
Usually, because then it's like, then literally January 6th is when the Get Your Movement Challenge will start, and then it'll go until the end of March. Okay, and then pretty much the Love Your Body Challenge. I really usually take off like April, but like a couple of years I did a challenge in April. It was just a 30-day short challenge, and that was cool. But like, it's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's always something going on.
Maybe you could have like, we're just kind of talking about it, but maybe you could have like like you said, you have like your 30-day challenges. Maybe there could be like one a year that has a much longer ramp up time, like a 6-month ramp up time,
right?
Where you're still doing stuff in between, like you're still signing up people for regular challenges, but like at the end of the year we have a really big challenge, that
and anyway. No, 100%. And so it's again, it's just trying to figure that kind of stuff out, and that's the thing too, is it's like I think people forget that like not only am I focusing on, my health, my workouts, growing the business, getting personal training clients, because that's what pays the bills.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So like
that's your bread and butter.
And so it's one of those things of like, that has to be the focus. Right. Then from there, it's like great to get more people into challenges. Love that. And then from there, it's like, so, it's like, let's get Fight Out to the masses. Like, so like, there's like a hierarchy of things in terms of like monetarily speaking. But then again, too, like my passion is with all of it. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just as passionate right now as selling the rest of the fight, because I have strawberry, like I'm trying to sell the rest of it. I'm just as equally passionate about that as I am growing the YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers. Right. Like, there's not like, for me truly, like, because really monetarily speaking, like, yes, it matters, right? But really for me, it's like about the growth of the brand and the mission. And that's how it's always been. And that's where, when we talked about like with Danielle about success and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That's where it's like, for me, those are success markers. Right? Because I don't really have it of like, okay, I have to make X amount of money off a fight this year. It's really not that. It's more about let me move product. Right. Like, I don't want just all this product sitting here in my house. Yeah. Like, let's get it out to the masses. Yeah. Let's get it in front of some big names. Let's get it, let's talk about, can we get a manufacturer? Like, that excites me.
Progress.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a specific. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that yesterday, and we've talked about that before, about like people get really fixated on the number 1 million, like 1 million subscribers or $1 million or whatever. And it's like, I don't know why that became a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I guess it's an easy, like, go, $1 million, but like, do you really need $1 million? Like, at the end of the day, like, if you're working 45, 50 hours a week and it's your business and you're passionate about what you're doing and you make $500,000 or $250,000 or $100,000, like, are you unhappy? If you're, you know what I mean? If you're making $100,000, $200,000 a year and you're doing this, like, you're gonna sit around and be like, but I'm not a millionaire yet. It's like,
no,
what? Like, what? That's crazy.
And I never feel
subscribers and followers. You don't need 1 million.
Yeah. Well, I never feel without. You know what I mean? And also too, something that me and my dad actually talked about a while ago was more about, like, he was like, would you rather have, he was like, would you rather have 150 clients that you got to take care of, that you got to be there for, and how you give yourself to like your business and all this stuff and whatever, that are paying you, I don't know, let's just say $200 a month, or would you rather have 25 people that are committed, they spread your message, they spread your mission, but they're paying, they're like a $900 client or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever. And again, I don't know the math and I don't know what that looked like, but that's what. That's more of the whole thing of let's get both. Let's get like the intentional clients or whatever, but also I don't need to hands-on train 150 people.
100%.
You know what I mean? No. And I remember one time, this is hilarious. I still laugh about this. At one time, I don't know, he might have been out of it or he might have meant it genuinely, but this other trainer was sitting by me and he had said, because when I trained at Next Level, and he saw how I grind and how I was like in and out, like I'm going to personal, in-person, virtual, in-person, all the stuff with my regular day. And he was like, he said something to the effect of like, he goes, man, I mean, you must have like 200 clients? And I was like, what?
She said he must have been out of it or something.
I mean, but seriously, because
He expected that level of clientele because of how much how hard you were?
Like how, just from the outside looking in, I guess, you know? And I was like, I don't even know. I didn't know how to respond.
Even other people in the same industry. Like I was about to say, people don't know what they're talking about. I was like, well, he's a trainer. It's like, well, yeah, people don't know what they're talking about.
No, but yeah. And again, people hear these stories about like bodybuilders and coaches that have hundreds of clients or whatever. That's a different, again, don't get me started on that, but that's a cookie cutter copy paste. Yeah. Like they're not training that many people in a week
first of all,
or whatever.
Only so much time.
Exactly. So it's again, now online programming is different because you can spend a day and get out all the online programs and do what you got to do and whatever. And I understand that. But even when I customize everything and stuff like that, there is a time breakdown of it. If you really think about it, you guys, like that. If you're a coach or somebody, hey everyone, thank you so much for subscribing to the Love Your Body podcast on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening. I appreciate you so much for sharing these stories, listening, and just, being a part of the DDF community. If you are interested in any challenges I have coming up, the Get Your Movement In Challenge is launching here soon, so stay tuned for that, as well as online programming. Would love to work with you from all over. And you guys, I'm just so blessed and so thankful for this season of time. Please, if you get a chance to share the mission, rate the podcast, whatever you want to do, comment, let us know what you think about it. We would love the support, and we're always looking for sponsors. So if you're someone that's listening right now and you want to get your business out there as well, we'd love to have you as a sponsor. And so let us know at Dani@DaniFitness.com. But when it comes to the programs like that, like I said, it's not customized. Stuff gets slipped through the cracks, you know what I mean? And it's really upsetting. And that's how people end up with like health issues like I did, because it was a cookie cutter plan. I should have asked more questions, yes, but also like trusting in that person, right? Mm-hmm. And that's another thing I do want to talk about is that like I'm going to say this again. I'll say this multiple times, but like your trainer is not everything and it should not be everything to you. Like, I do my best in terms of like support and being there for people and loving them throughout their journey and things like that. But I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a PT. I am not there's a lot of things I'm not, right? Like I am not a dietitian. I am not there are specific fields, you know what I mean? And so if you want the most out of your healthy lifestyle journey, then use the people that I refer you to, you know what I mean? For those things. I can give you advice on stuff. I am there for you in your walk of life with everything, and try to offer, like I said, even good snacks and good ideas. And then I do food accountability coaching, but that's looking at already what you're doing and helping you make better choices, being that accountability for you. It's just a different type of food training, I would say, right? And
that seems like just from the outside looking in, that seems like an unfair expectation too.
Yeah, and that's where
maybe why you're saying that. But.
Yeah, and that's why I'm it is one of those things of when you do that, that's why people are getting away with training hundreds of people and not really, like I said, they're not really caring or whatever, and then people are treating them like they're end all be all, but really they're just somebody that's giving you a workout,
right?
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to cheapen my brand because my brand is not just my personal training. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's just a subset of it. So it's again, the mission is so much more and so much greater than that. But at its root of with your expectations, that's what I mean by that, And I mean, I fall victim to it too. I literally, like I said, thought that my coach had my best interest in all these things, but I never once questioned. I think I was just one time, are you certified in for food stuff like that? It's I've been doing this for 30 years. Da, 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 da. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Gaslight. Yeah. So it's that.
It's unfortunate because I think I had some really bad experiences with football coaches, for example. Mm-hmm. And as an adult now, I went to a Little League game for, I guess, who's my nephew now that I'm thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I should probably get used to saying it. But anyways, I went to a football game for him, and the coach is there. It was a Little League game. It was 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
But even that, I was mind blown, at the power trip.
Yes.
That coaches go, and I had never been on the outside looking in like that, and like so quickly I was like, what is going on here? Like these are little kids, like,
and that's
you're screaming at these little ass kids, and like,
yep.
I just know that like you go home and you're probably miserable, and you come out here and you just think that you're God, and so you just boss people around. And so my point in saying that about the trainers is that you, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's no different than a police officer or something else. Like, you're given responsibility and power over people's lives, and it takes us, you know, it takes the right kind of person, it takes a special person to not take advantage of that.
And that's the thing too, is letting go of their ego, and that's something that for me too, like I am a servant, and like that is not to be like not how some people treat trainers, because they treat them awful, and so I hate that. But in terms of like what my purpose is and how I am there to help, it's not about me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not. And yes, I have cool things and people should get excited about it and like the brand and stuff like that, whatever.
But you have those things to help to bring value to other people. And
exactly. Like there's always a purpose in everything that I do. And I know that people that listen to this and that follow the mission and follow on Instagram and all the places, like they know that and they see that, and everything is purposeful. Yeah. Like I just went to the CMA official after party. Okay. So someone could be like, oh, that's a cool thing you went and did.
Yeah, just a little quick, just name drop there, but
you know, but literally the reason I went was business. Oh, like you went to network. No, I went to meet the people.
I knew what I was doing.
That like, yeah, there was a strategic plan in action of like what needed to happen. Okay. So like, and I think that the people that really do know me that are in the industry, that's where they get all like jealous or fearful or whatever. Yeah, they're watching every single story that I put up, or, you know, they're trying to figure out, well, why is she there? Why should I be there? It's so above that. It's not about, oh, did I see someone famous? Oh, did I went to take a picture like an influencer? Like, no, that wasn't it. Right.
And then those same people, by the way, would be the ones that whenever you take off, they'll be like, oh, she got so lucky.
Right. And so that's where it's like, yeah, because again,
did I? You remember all those things that I've been doing for forever?
Literally. And it's a building block. And right now I feel like it's like a pyramid, right? And we are building, and we got the foundation, right? Building the team, building it up. I mean, and it's super cool. And like, but it's different than how I think people's minds would go to of what it should be, quote unquote, or what they think of what it would look like. And so that's where it's like, I get excited. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like I went to that because my client, she's a singer. She's been on here, Megan. And you know, Megan has done amazing things. I even forget. I think some people forget too. I mean, she got second place on The Voice. She was on the Kelly Clarkson show, literally singing her single. She's been on major like Target and like different ads, like Netflix or whatever. Like her voice, she sings and like she produces music. Like she's not just a singer. And she also is a songwriter and also has songs with like Aloe Black and like different other like was like, I don't even know, like there's so many name drops that I could do, right? But she's done so much. So, but she grinds and she's in it and like she connects people. And I love that, you know? And so she's very like selfless in that, but also is like, this is going to benefit everyone. And I'm like, I'm the same way. Right. Like literally the same way. And I told someone that the other day, I was like, I know how to make people a lot of money, but when it comes to like reciprocation on like, when they actually like people who actually have followed through for me, that's been rare. Right. And again, that's fine. But right now I'm in a season where it is one of those things of like, because of health stuff, like I got to be so purposeful with it. And even I was talking to my friend the other day and he was like, I'm really sorry that people have not shown up for you in that way. And I'm like, dude, it's straight. Like it's really...
Well, you and I have talked about that a lot. Yeah. Too. Like when I tell you, I mean, and I'm in this industry, I have other, you know, I have brands that I've tried to start that didn't go well. And like, so like, and yours has gone well, but I'm just saying that I know that frustration. And so that's whenever we talk and I'm like, trust me. It's like earlier, whenever you were saying like, I don't know how to get people involved. You've heard me say this before. There's always places we can improve and we will continue to do so. But whenever I've sympathized with you on that, I'm like, I'm not saying this to like blow smoke up your butt. Like you are doing the right things. Like you are. You know what I mean? It's so. Anyways. But
it's like, again, it's that building block, and that's kind of like what has been what I've been looking at. It's not about racing up to the top when it being halfway done. You know, I just keep imagining a pyramid, right? Like and trying to like halfway glue it together. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, like lay the foundation, brick, and then like lay the foundation, and like like okay. So anyway, so that's been like super cool, right? And I will say that it was awesome because I well, we'll get to this question in a second. Someone asked a question and I want to get to it on Instagram, but it's nice to feel fulfilled. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's the word I would think, because I was trying to do an Instagram or a reel the other day, and it's like I was trying to like go to where it clips and it says like, when you grow up, what do you want to be, kind of thing. And I was gonna say happy, but that's not what I've always been. Happy. Like that wasn't the right word. So I put fulfilled. And I don't even know if that's the right word, but that's where it keeps coming to me, because it's like with all the things that I've done, like I feel fulfilled in them, you know?
I think that's the right word.
Right? Sure. Like, and so anyway, I thought that was kind of cool.
Filled with purpose, fulfilled.
Yeah.
Rewarded for putting good things out into the world.
Yeah.
And having good things come back to you. Like that's.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, feeling purposeful and having it go well.
Right.
Like that's the best feeling.
It is. And that's like, because it's not even about like, because at first when I was looking, I was like, maybe I'll put enough. But like, I don't know.
Not feel.
Yeah. Like
right,
exactly.
Right.
Like that wasn't the right thing either. Because it's not about how other people see me or what their view is or their opinion. And I feel like that's what we equate enoughness to. Like, does that person love me enough? Does that person think I'm successful enough? Do they think that I'm whatever? All of that's irrelevant. Like, if I think I'm enough, then that's all that matters. And really, my own relationship with stuff is for God. You know what I mean? And that was something that me and my dad talked about the other day too. Is he had said something about like, it's irrelevant about forgiving of other people. Like that's irrelevant. Like I've always kind of talked on this podcast about, I've forgiven them, so it's okay. Or like, I don't have resentment towards them, like it's okay. And he was like, you got to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
And I was like, Dad, like, you know what I mean? But I really sat with that. And I was like, have I forgiven myself? Right. But think about it, of all the harbored resentment of like, how could you be so dumb to like, this is internal speaking, like, to like trust that one person, right. Or to, go down this path and not done it a better way, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And that was such an eye-opening, thing of like being like, man, okay, that's something I can work on. That is totally within my control. And it is something I can pray about.
Sorry, I just want to say real quick. I've thought about that a lot lately with myself too. And I had a very chaotic childhood. And so that manifests in a lot of different ways. But one thing too is like, I know enough about your story, obviously, to know that a lot of this stuff, it started early. It wasn't like this is something a couple years ago that started happening for you. Mm-hmm. This has like been your this mission and this message has been developing through your entire life.
Yeah.
And my point in saying that is that forgiving yourself, like what I'm realizing too, is that like it's important to it's like what you can control, what you can't control, what you have control over, what you don't. So my point is that like if you look back and you say, okay, well, I shouldn't have trusted that person. Okay, great. Yeah. Learn that lesson, forgive yourself, take the accountability. It's also important at that point to move on and, take the lesson and then move on. But whenever some of these, some things you think about and you're like, forgiveness almost feels like the wrong word because like, well, I didn't really do anything.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, exactly. Like forgive yourself. Like you're shaming yourself and judging yourself for things that you had no control over. You were a child. There were things that people did put onto you. People were projecting onto you. And so forgiveness is again, it goes that can't control and what you can't control. It's like, I'm realizing lately, it's like, you also have to forgive yourself for these judgments that you put on yourself that you don't even think about them as judgments because it's like, oh, well, that's just what I was told when I was 7. You didn't do anything wrong by taking that on because you were a child, but you also should forgive yourself from that and let that thought go, but also don't judge yourself for listening whenever you were taken advantage of.
Right.
To a when you had no control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like the thing is that like that was another thing that I talked about, like that it's not even, I did not have a bad childhood. There was nothing that, I've always been loved, all of that. So this doesn't even go back to that. Like I said, I literally have spoken about it with my therapist and things like that about the enoughness thing. I feel like I was like born with that because of my deep relationship with God of like, there's not enough works I can do to be accepted. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And for me, I was like, I am scheduled. I am this, even at a young age. I am on it. And so it's a hard way to compete compute that, like to be like, oh, okay, so like accept me and I'll be enough. But then it's like, but exactly. I'm not reading my Bible enough, or I'm not doing this enough, or whatever. And so it's a very fine line to just be like, I'm going to live in sin. And this is before I got baptized. This was something of like, okay, I'll live in sin, but I ask for forgiveness. So like, we're good, right?
Yeah, like it's a free ticket out, like a
right. It's like I apologize. I do feel bad, or sometimes I'd be like, I really do feel bad about this, whatever. And that's not what a relationship is, or if it is, it's a really poor relationship. So then it was like reevaluating that after getting baptized and being like, okay, when I look at my best worldly relationship that I have, and think about that really, about who is that person, always there, I can count on day in, day out, or who those people, because I have a few people like that. But like would drop everything to listen to me or be there for me or whatever, and accept me for who I am in my worst self and in my best self, right? But also who will hold me accountable, right? And when I think about those relationships, and I think about if I said something really mean to that person, and then was like, oh, but like, I'm sorry I said it, they'd be like, hey, like, not cool, right? And then we wouldn't have the relationship we have, right? So it's the same thing with how I view with God, of being like, I will be an evangelist for you. Like, I will speak on you. I will not be ashamed of you. I will not hide about you. Like, I will answer questions when clients talk to me now about God or whatever, which is I was more bashful about before, or kind of, said different language, whatever. It's like, absolutely not. Yeah. You accept me as a whole. I will accept you in all the things I don't understand,
Especially if they bring that to you. Like,
yes.
You have to just be honest about it.
And versus pivoting and like moving forward or whatever. Like,
and then you feel weird. You're
like,
that's not really what
because then that's not myself, right?
Like, that's not really the answer to that I want to give. But.
And so anyway, so I just, like I said, it's a lot of eye-opening.
That's dead on. The only thing I want to add real quick is that's basically what I was saying about people putting things onto you whenever you didn't have control over it. It's like, that's a them thing.
Yeah.
And so like forgiveness is a weird word, because it's like, it sounds like it almost doesn't match, but that's my point too, is like in the process of forgiving yourself for the things that you did have control over, you also have to realize there was a lot that was put on you that you didn't have control over, that was other people that were projecting onto you. And that stuff is important to let go of too.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we hold on to that, and you think that that's you telling yourself that. It's like, wait a second, do I actually...
No, where did that stem from? Exactly. Right. And that's why I try to tell my clients, I'm like, okay, this idea of what you need to look like who...
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? And also, if you are, because I do have a lot of feminists that I train, right? If you are that, then why are you listening to a male? Because it's not the females you're seeing, the models and whatever on TV. Those industries, 9 times out of 10, CEOs are men that are showing what they wanted to see through that. So you're only, you buying the makeup and you buying those things are only supporting that man.
That makes sense.
So like,
that makes sense.
Stick it to him.
Yeah, you got him.
You see what I'm saying? And then 100%. like, and that goes, I could go around about this too, but like that goes to the whole thing about also when, for example, when it comes to like, even like with small businesses, right? Like commenting, liking, sharing their stuff. Okay. Growing the mission, right? That is a thing that I'm like, people will sit there and post about the Kardashians and all the different people and whatever, right? All day long. They don't care about you at all. Okay, so Taylor Swift does not care about you, Susie at home.
Couldn't if she tried.
Like, you know what I mean?
She's got a little bit going on,
and you can act like that they do, or that they're that idol or whoever or whatever. And like, I'm not trying to be an idol. I'm not trying to be put on or whatever. I'm just saying that like, look around you and look at who's actually showing up for you, who's actually supporting you. Like, just because they're a good quote unquote person, or just because whatever,
or they say it,
or I don't know, whatever, have influence, or they're like in some world, someone that you want to be because you think that'll make you happy or whatever. Like, that's not like, that is only going to keep perpetuating this idea that literally we should be treated differently if we have X amount of followers on social media, or we should be treated differently if we are in the limelight, or we should be treated differently, all these things.
Yeah, it's weird, like the disconnect. It seems like if you're far away enough from somebody, they feel comfortable supporting you.
Right.
But then like if they know you, they feel some type of way about it. It's really weird. Like I thought about that before. There was a sign in the Starbucks. It was like piano and chess night or something, which is like something I would be into in a nerdy way.
Yeah.
And like if me and Margaret will go on like vacation or something, and I would see something like that, I'd be like, oh, they have a piano and chess night. That's awesome. Like let's go do that. I'd be all hyped up about it.
Yeah.
And I saw that one day, and it made me think like, but when I see it in Lebanon, where I live, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, and I just keep moving. It's like,
right.
Or maybe go there.
Yes. Well, and it's almost too like I think that sometimes
it's like just because it's down the road doesn't mean it's not quality or it's not like.
For example, like a lot of times my best friends will be like, you don't know how much your platform in this mission actually inspires others. And I'm like, you're right, I don't, because a lot of times y'all ain't telling me.
Right.
Or like you don't like, or people will tell me, they'll reach out and say something, which is very sweet and it means a lot to me for sure. But then they'll go and on their stories post about other trainers that have more of a following and be like, she's just so inspirational. But like you texted me. Right. So it's almost like when people in a relationship and like, you know what I mean? And you low key talking to the girl, but like but out in the open, you with them. So I'm like, I don't want to be your side chick. Okay. Like
figuratively or literally.
So please, like, let's kind of like again share something. Yeah. Share a reel that you think that I put out. There's got to be at least one. Come on, that you've resonated with.
And it matters.
And it does matter.
Like we don't just sit here talking about this just to talk about it.
It's not. And also, this isn't for me. Like sharing it doesn't mean like I'm gonna be happy or I'm gonna be sad. Regardless if you don't, you're not gonna influence my mood at all. Okay. Literally. The thing that I just posted, I think has 5 likes. Thank you. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, again, there's going to be some times that happens and there's going to be some that have 5,000 views, but 10 likes. And I'm like, so you seeing it. You may not like it, but you're seeing it. And again, at least it's then out there. So like, whatever, right? But it is that whole thing, too. And again, I think that sometimes we look at it, and I've done this before too, where, oh, it doesn't matter. They have this or that, or there's no need, or what can I do? But that's the thing, you guys, is like, all of you listening, sharing, and everything like that, like you grow this mission. So like, I mean, really, if someone, not that anyone has done this to me, like no one has, some people have said it kind of like sideways said it, but like, oh, well, like I thought you would have been further along by now. Or like, oh, I thought that you would have been whatever. And it's like, again, we're building blocks on things.
Well, also, but again, but where is further? Like, what is the metric that you're using that I'm not further along?
Exactly. So there's that, yes. But then too, it's like, like, it comes down to you sharing it with other people. You know what I'm saying? It's not all on me. Like, you know what I mean? It's what's your business? Again, 100%. But anybody's business that grew, that's out up there that people look up to or whatever, it's because they had it. Taylor Swift is not Taylor Swift because she's fantastic.
Correct.
She is because she has fans. Right. And you say, oh, well, she was a genius and this, whatever. Cool. I have done a great job too. Like, you know what I mean?
But if she goes and sells tickets to a concert, nobody shows up.
Yeah, like
it doesn't matter. She can be the best person in the whole world. She has no support.
Right. So it is those people. So like that's where I try to do all these things where I do all the sales. You know what I'm saying? I try to give out things. I do, where we do cool challenges that are innovative. Like, I try to connect people so that way then they're making money and then they're getting, like all of these things. Like
I just want to say this real quick.
Yeah.
We were talking about this off camera before we started, and I just want to throw this out there. First of all, if you're here, you're right now, especially like an hour in, then you're on the mission, you're on the team. So we're all,
yes.
I'm probably not speaking to you, but it's interesting regardless to think about. But, there's a lot of cheating that goes on around here when it comes to social media, when it comes to subscribers and followers and comments and these kind of things. So like, and it can be disheartening whenever you're not trying to do it that way. Yeah. And you're not like getting it back because it makes it appear as if like there's really no downside to the cheating. It's like, well, if I just go pop a number up on my Instagram, everybody will be like that person wouldn't have said that to you. And it's like, okay, great. So who do you think is along? I don't know. Just this person has 100,000 followers. Okay, well, what if I told you that they have 1,000 followers actually?
Right. Yeah, but see, people don't care because
it is. Trust me, I've worked in this industry for years, and I've seen a person. I had a client one time who I no longer work with, who went from 7,000 to 10,000 overnight. Yeah, and I literally texted him because I didn't even know that existed, and I was like, "Yo, what did you do? Like, that's amazing." And he's like, "Oh, I turned my systems back on." I'm like,
"Yeah."
Is this
and that's the thing too, you guys? This is again? I have no complaints on where I'm at. Like that's the other thing too. Like, so I've been talking to like advisors and things like that, like money wise. Right. And my whole thing is like, okay, like, well, I have a Roth, right? Like a Roth IRA. So you put money in, you contribute every year. Okay. And I know projected kind of like what that will look like when I retire or whatever, when I'm older and stuff like that. So I keep putting in money. I keep putting in money. Like that doesn't change regardless of whatever. Okay. And like, regardless if I think that I'm gonna, you know, I want to do this analogy, but I want to make sure I'm saying it right. But like, I will keep putting money into that because that is a routine, that is a system, and I don't get any benefits right now. I get nothing from doing that. Okay. Long term, I will. It is no different with my business. No, I will continue keep showing up. I will continue keep training. I will continue to keep putting out cool things, doing awesome stuff, showing up for MoveFit, like whatever, because all of those things, like I'm in it for the long game. Like this is
another very key difference,
right?
Another very, very key difference.
And that's where too, it's like, that's what makes it special and it makes it exciting. But also, I was talking about this earlier with somebody, that even if I came into a ton of money or whatever, like, you know, however, whatever, I still think that like the way that I operate would be similar. Like I literally said that the first thing I would do is make sure that all my accounts like are set up correctly. Right. Like my Roth for this and whatever, and all of those are max contributed and that's in there. Like financially,
because that's like scaling what you're already doing.
Yeah, because that's like the kind of like mindset that I work in. You know what I mean? And so it's just interesting of. Yeah. And again, you never know until you're there, right? And when you're in it and stuff like that. But really, like I told them, I said, I would love to just sit and like have people still come to the LYB and me not say a word. And then all of a sudden, you know, then I'm just like, oh, by the way, yeah, I did this and this and that. You know what I mean? Like, and that would be so cool. But all the things that I want to do are like I said, it's providing opportunities for other people, which is interesting, right? Like I had said something on the lines of like, you know, like it'd be cool to have small boutique personal training gyms because personal trainers are always looking for places to train. Okay. Always. But to have like those type of gyms all over, but I don't manage them. I don't have anything to do with them. I just gave them the concept branding. Here's the color schemes. Here's how you operate. Go on with it. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like the person that owns Next Level, but then like Jack, there's like a head person that like then takes care of it, but like the actual owner of the building. Okay. I don't own the building. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to clean it. I have been offered so many gyms, you guys, over the past years that now people are like actually in right now, whatever. Anyway. And I turn them down.
Like to manage them?
No, to like get to take them over. Like it'd be my gym.
Yeah.
For years, since literally a month after I started my business. Do you want the space? No, I didn't, because I was not equipped to be the marketer, the cleaner, the owner, the trainer, the group fitness instructor, all in one. And I didn't have a team to be able to do that. When you get the money, you get a team. You know what I'm saying?
There's a whole movie about how McDonald's is not in the business of selling burgers. They're in the business of buying land.
Yeah.
They just buy lots and they put up new McDonald's on them. That's all they do.
Right. And again, though, they had fantastic marketing and they had a system.
Systems.
Right. So that's where like,
systems.
So that is where that kind of thing would happen. And I would love that. Right. So then it's like all across the world, like or across the US, wherever you have those training studios so that trainers could come in, train their clients, do whatever. And, you know, you have it on brand. Like LYB, you got the fight gym, you got the get your movement in gym, like whatever. Right. That'd be kind of cool. The other part of it is I would spend it on real estate, hands down. Condo complex, done. Would also have a spot in, like have real estate in, you know, Colorado and New York and whatever, you know, all those different things. But like there would also be, like I said, with the condo, like the complex, that would be opportunity for people to have places to live. You know what I'm saying? And then like would fill those up.
Right.
But just like owning the complex.
Right.
You know, if I can go stay there, you know, a month out of the year, that'd be cool. Right. And one of them, like awesome. But then like have my friends, like they're set up and they could pay me rent or whatever. Like, and, but that's where we all go retire.
Like none of it is like a singular isolated thing for you. They all everything benefits somebody else as well.
Because we all win.
Mutual,
Exactly. So that's what I get to on it of like, I think that some people, they want to like make it and they want to whatever and all this stuff. But like what people right now are having to do is they're having to live, you know, like,
You're good.
Okay. They're having to live still under somebody's foot. and they're not free. You know what I'm saying? So they're not free in the sense of like if you're an influencer, you have to do certain things. Like I've gotten paid to do certain things, whatever. And a lot of them have been like one-off accounts and stuff. But like if I were to be on program with those people, then you have to like abide by like the changes, all the things that they ask of you. Okay. And so that's where like for me, like if it was a freedom, for me, it's about freedom. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to the LYB podcast. If you haven't yet, please go check out the How to Love Your Body Throughout book on Amazon. This is my very first book. I am so proud of it. It is a short read. You can also get it on Kindle. So it's not a huge commitment, but it is something of a self-help book. So if you're someone who is looking for support, you're looking for tools, you're looking for just a way to feel better during this holiday season and into the new year, I definitely recommend it. I put my heart and soul into this, and this is just the start. So if you haven't yet, go on Amazon and get your first copy. And again, I love being like an influencer for certain types of brands that I believe in, and that's great too. But when it comes down to it, like it's all about freedom for me. And that's why like getting paid to work out with like No Bull.
That's where I am too with that.
That was like a freedom thing.
Yeah.
That was like
100%. That's the only reason why I even care about money at all.
I'm doing what I love and like that. And right now I am free.
Yeah.
So for me, like I am there, but
one of my favorite sayings is the pursuit of a worthwhile goal is success.
Yeah.
Like just the pursuit of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's why I think too, like most people forget about it. And that's why like in this journey, that's why I get so excited. I'm so happy. Like
you're already there.
Right.
You're
and
already pursuing something worthwhile.
Right. And at the CMA thing, it was like me just being there, showing up in a bomb dress that I was like thankful that it fit and it worked and everything like that. I felt good in it. Having a team of people, like my girl who did my hair and my makeup and like felt beautiful, right? And then having, my client who came, she felt people complimented her the whole night. Like, that was so great and so rewarding, She loved a photo that we took together and she didn't criticize it. Like that was amazing. Like there were so many like wins with it and it was such a cool night. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like it was like those type of things. I'm just dancing around having fun, enjoying it. There was no stress about it. Right. It was just, it was a long day. I was exhausted, but like also being grateful. Like I couldn't even really see, if I'm being honest, because I wore my glasses the whole day. And right now I have to do steroid drops and so you can't use your contacts when you do them. But even when I do my contacts, it's still hard to see out of the eye. But like when I wear my glasses, because of this kind of blocks like this eye a little bit. So it makes things like kind of normal. Okay. But when I don't wear these, it's like this eye, it makes me feel drunk, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole time walking around, I'm pretty much like can't see unless you're like right in front of me.
You don't even need a drink. You don't need a shot.
No, because I'm like all messed up. I fell off the steps earlier today because of my depth perception. You know what I mean?
I wasn't going to say it. But.
Yeah. So like this is a real thing. And this
By the way, talking about challenges, I'll come in today and I was like, "You sure you want to record?" You rolled her ankle, and she's like, "Oh, I'm still want to record." In fact, I still got 1,500 more steps to do today. I was like, "Maybe just take the day." And she's like, "No, it's the last day of the challenge."
It's the last day of the challenge.
So she's busting it for the challenges as well.
I only got 500 more steps.
She's busting it for the challenge as well, just so you know. But literally busted it for the challenge. Still going.
But yeah, and that was just a silly thing. I've never fallen off those steps before. Never have I ever. I've lived here 3 years now. Never have I ever. Yeah. Last day of the challenge, right? Yeah. But again, it just goes to show you that I got my workout in early this morning. Yeah. I walk in early. I could have put it off, and I almost did. Thank goodness I didn't, because I don't want to over exacerbate it or whatever. But like I checked it, and it seems fine, whatever. But it's one of those things where it's like that's one why you get your stuff done early. Because you never know what life's gonna throw at you. Your boss calls you in. Your husband does this. Somebody like you don't know. So if you just like go ahead and start your day off on the right day, like more success. Like there was something I even like read about that was like what was it? It was like if you work out. Oh, I said read. I watched a reel about it. Anyway, it was like if you
did you finish your book report after that too? Because I want to read it.
Oh my gosh, stop! If you work out in the morning, you're just like so much more productive like throughout the rest of your day. And I've been saying that like as I've lived it, but like you will be more productive. Yeah. And so that is where like it's very true. And there's been no time where I've ever regretted that. Like, yeah, maybe I was tired and like, man, I hated getting up that early, but like I never regret it.
Well, you also don't know, like with something like that, whenever you're younger,
yeah,
and despite the fact that you're a trainer, like I think we were both, and I'm athletic and these kind of things, so we still definitely qualify. Like we're not at the stage of our life where like you bump into something and you're like, you broke your arm or something, you know what I mean? But at the same time, even when you're younger, if you're not doing anything, like you could have rolled your ankle, and had you not been doing anything for weeks, your ankle is even weaker, or your calf is even weaker.
Such a great point to say.
Tear an Achilles or
exactly.
Or you know?
And that is why I tell people that you're not training. You're not training for specifically like to be like you might think this weight goal or whatever it might be. That's not why you're training. You're training for when life hits the fan, and you mentally are strong enough to be able to handle it, but also physically strong enough to be able to handle it.
Exactly.
Handle that car crash, handle that, that.
We both know people that have literally lived through things because they were healthy. Because they were physically fit. And you hear that and you're like, holy shit, dude.
And,
did you ever answer that question?
No, I'm going to answer the question. Okay. So this person asked, where would you be if you never discovered fitness? So where would I be if I never discovered fitness?
If you never discovered oxygen.
Right, exactly. If I never discovered fitness, I'm going to take this as because I dance since the age of 3. So I'm going to take this as we're not going to talk about we're going to talk about fitness as a sense of strength training. Okay, so that's what I'll go off of. If I never would have gotten injured with dance, I wouldn't have started strength training. And that's because I needed to heal my back and things like that. And so that's why I got a personal trainer when I was like 15. And that was the main reason. But then I kind of got away from it because it wasn't really that fun at the time. And then when I went into college and found a friend who actually was strength training, that was really cool because it showed me that like, man, like it's cool. It felt good to feel capable. So for me, like if I wouldn't have found fitness, like I would have probably gone into event coordinating. Okay. And I wouldn't have done weddings per se, but I would have done any type of events. So would have just worked with a company, like probably, and like corporation or whatever. And planned all their events for them. And honestly, I wanted to do huge events. Like my one friend, his aunt would get paid literally a year's salary for one event that she would do. That's all she did. That's all her work was, just preparing that one event, like a gala. Okay, something cool like that. And I was like, man, and like I shadowed her kind of, and I was like, and had an interview with her or whatever. And I was like, how awesome! Like just to put your all into one event, one amazing night that people remember forever. And then like, you know what I'm saying? And then be like paid. And then that's what you did, you know? Yep. So that was something cool. And same thing with like even the Find Your Fit festivals. Like I loved putting that on, and those on, and because it was again, bringing together community, helping out other sponsors, helping out people like, there was just so much positivity towards that. And, so really that's, I think would be my fallback, but I don't have a plan B or anything like that. But like, God forbid, I don't know, life is crazy, but that would be probably something that I would have gone into. And I wouldn't have been, I'm not going to lie. Like I would look a lot different than I do now.
Well, I think it like the obvious, like, quick answer is like I don't even know how to answer that because like your whole life is fitness, so like that's a career difference, but what are the other parts of your life look like if that's if you have no fitness,
I would have been super
if you're not working out,
if I'm not working out this time, you know what I mean, like
the people that you're around, by the way, not clients, not people that are in the fitness industry, these are people that maybe you see at work, these are people that and you're pretty strong-willed, but I'm just saying that like you are who you surround yourself with. Maybe you definitely wouldn't have the same group of people around you. So
I probably
that'd be a tough thing to take away. That's why I said it's like, when did you discover oxygen?
Right.
It's like, well, shit.
I will say that I probably, I probably would have stayed in a lot of like friendships way longer than I should have, because I already feel like I stayed in them way longer, but I probably would have kept on with that. And would have just been that person. I can remember her very, very vividly, like, whatever, of just the people pleaser, do what everyone else wants to do, even though I don't want to do it, show up at the bar, show up at the places, show up wherever anyone else, like, but not having anything reciprocated in that way. I would have just been a very, I want to say sad, but like, yeah, just living for other people.
Well, I mean, it's not, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that if the thing that you live for was taken from you, you would be sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing too, is like, now, let's play devil's advocate, right? Like, maybe would I have more time? I don't think I'd have more time, but maybe would I have prioritized more relationships of like staying in groups of people or whatever for longer, like going to the UT football games with everybody and like meeting back up every season, right? Having passes and like doing those things. But I worked on the weekends, like I trained clients, so like with a 9 to 5 I wouldn't have done that, right? So I probably would have gone and been in this cycle. So that's why I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people who are stuck in that like college mentality or stuck in their high school or stuck in these groups because because that's just like what they did for so long. And I get that, but I think that the only other thing that I would say is about that is that like, would I have taken more time to be in a relationship? Probably not. Like, because I would have just given my all to that 9 to 5 and would have recovered on the weekend like everyone does and drinks and like does like silly things or whatever, and then like starts it back over again. So the monotony of it, right? Is I think that where I would have been, like everybody else.
Yeah, and they didn't set it up in like a, because obviously you would. I mean, I think that the answer is 100% obvious, but like, it doesn't surprise me that you would take the route. Well, it's like, well, if it did, I would probably like. I hear you trying to work it out. Like if that wasn't there, then I would have figured out a different. But with all the things that like you could find something where you're like, well, I guess I could have done more of this. But I think we both know you wouldn't trade.
Oh no!
You wouldn't trade this for
no, and even if
I'm not saying
you
that you're saying that, I'm just saying that's
even if you told me that like my best friends that I had when I was younger would still be best friends with me now, no, not
would you trade it?
no,
no, of course
wouldn't trade it. Sorry about it. Y'all know where I am. You can come through anytime. And then the other thing is that like, I wouldn't have. Yeah, like the other part of it, I would say, because I mean. What was I gonna say? Oh, with the relationship piece. I'm sure everybody's always wondered that because whatever. Before I even had fitness or my business, let's paint the picture. I'm 15 years old and I get my first boyfriend, and literally he calls me at 10 o'clock at night, and I just got home from like school, but then I had a dance team from 3:30 to 5:15. 5:30, and then we would go to competition dance 6:15 to 9. Okay, so I get home and I've just eaten dinner at 9:30. He calls me at 10 o'clock. I'm like, what do you want? You know, and this is somebody I liked and whatever. But then he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, he's like, oh, well, tell me about your day. No, I have homework. I have a test tomorrow. Like, I don't have time for this. And I know that sounds so silly. And he's like, oh, if you really loved him, like you would have made time for him. Okay.
Well,
literally 15 years old. Yeah.
15.
Mm-hmm. And also, you know, it was that whole thing of like, when I did date somebody after that I really liked more, at like 16 or whatever. But I think it was a 15 at the same time. Anyway, but it was just like one of those things of like, I still had to prioritize dance. I still prioritized my school. Like I still did all those things. Like my grades didn't drop. I wasn't like whatever. So, cause for me, dance was that priority.
I also think it's difficult for that question to not take out dance.
Right.
Like, if you never discover fitness, it's like, well,
yeah. Like, and even if you don't want to say dance, you could say sports, or you could say even extracurricular activity that kept me at school longer. Yeah. So the point of it is that the same thing is that I always was like prioritizing that versus silly things that I knew were just silly. You know,
those are the benefits of doing that stuff at that age, 100,000%.
Yeah, exactly. And the other part of it too is that like, I don't regret that. I don't look back at that.
No, not at
and
all.
what I would, I don't want to say regret, but was that that when I started listening to what other people said about how I looked, that changed my entire way of how I saw myself. And then that changed how I operated within people. And then I started getting resentful about other people, or why did they get this, or why don't I have this? And that, you know, and then it became like, I'm just like everyone else, like not enough. And you know, it's a competition with everybody. And like, I didn't want to be like that. Like I didn't want that. That wasn't my path. And that wasn't what I was meant to do. So that's why like going into college, that same kind of mindset.
Still isn't.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and then going into that mindset in college, it's like, just like trying to be relevant all the time, it was exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't leave me out. Like, include me. And then like people suck, and then they wouldn't do it, and then it's like you feel heartbroken.
And then you look back at it now. I'm assuming, but you look back. I've been in a situation like that. And you look back and you're like, oh, what do you do? Like, dude, stop.
Right.
Stop,
yes.
stop,
yeah.
Bro. Like,
and
they don't care.
Oh, there's so many like gross times that like if anybody
just
from
makes you cringe
anywhere,
so
literally cringe. And it all relates back to like guys and relationship stuff of like I completely, and even some friendships, like completely. Like at my root was myself, but I still like lost there were decisions that I made that were not what I viewed as like my values. I put my morals and my stuff down below because of what everyone else was telling me was cool to do and whatever, which you can say, okay, we've all done that. But I knew. But
you wanted more. You wanted better.
I wanted better. I always wanted better for myself. And also a lot of times it was like a cry for help of like, I just want to understand why I'm put in this position. Like even now, I still don't understand why.
No, I hear you on that so much. Trust.
I'm put in certain positions. And someone say, oh, well, you've allowed it. Now, I mean, I don't allow that with men now, but the whole fact of how it always was like the side person, like it was never, and I always took that as like I'm not enough,
right.
And that wasn't it.
Second
that was insecure boys trying to impress people that don't matter with the girls that they thought that people wanted them to be with, that they would like. And then now I see the people that you married, and no offense to them or whatever, but it's like you had the standard that you were saying
like
I'm only going to be with this type of girl, or like the rating scale, the 12, she's a 12 or whatever, and then it's literally like. You know,
it's kind of like the metrics of success thing we were talking about earlier. It's like
a
12
and that was
on what scale?
And that was so gross. And like, and so I hope that those people are like happy with the people that they're with and whatever now. And that's why like I'm just like, oh, that was so dumb and so silly, you know? And
but I think that shame, like for lack of a better term, that cringe, that shame that like we feel whenever you think about those things. I think that that's nothing more than like a check engine light. It's just like it's just like it just tells you like, see, those aren't people you want to be around. Yeah. So then like next time that you're around somebody and you feel yourself doing that,
you understand. Yes.
And you're like, wait a second. And it's just a flasher that's just like, okay. So that, and
I will say this as we're kind of closing out and stuff. It's like, you know, it's hilarious. Like when I really look at it, but even the last person that I dated, which was now over a year ago, like that was honestly just because he was like around. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because again, the thing is that I don't have a lot of people who reach out or ask me on dates. Like I'm not over here. Like, and you know. And that's where it gets to be kind of like obviously like frustrating because like I would love to go on more dates and stuff. But people are like, oh, they're scared of you, they're intimidated, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about excuses. But it's one of those things of like, that would be a lot of fun. And I'm always down for stuff. So I like going to CMA or right. Like that was cool. Like, or going to the party or whatever. And like, you know, going to ATV rides or going to shoot guns. Like I did that the other day. That was so much fun. Like finding like that person that wants to go do that kind of stuff. 100%. I'm down for whatever you throw at me. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's like with that person, it was just the first person in a long time that was like, hey, like, let's do something. Let's hang out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I looked at it and I was like, well, you know what? Though we have a lot of similarities. We got a lot of this, you know, kind of talking myself into it. And like, wow. And again, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the things that we did and it was nice new experiences and stuff. But at the end of the day, it just goes to show that like, that was just, he was just there. Like, I don't know how else to say it like nicely.
The same thing as what I was saying before. It just clarifies your vision even more. Like I hate that happened to you, but it's now you know the next time that you're interacting with somebody and you feel like, I don't really even like this person.
Exactly. Like just like, because they ask you does not mean I just say yes.
Now you felt like you've been through that process and so now you won't do that again.
Right.
You know?
And so every time I go through something like that, I look at it as, okay, just another learning experience. And like I learn about myself. I don't care about them. Like I learn about the things that like, how did I interpret it? Or 100%. Like, and again, I didn't lose myself in him. I didn't try to like people please or whatever. It wasn't anything like that.
It's also I was not authentically your job to try to fix.
Yes. It was authentically myself and like, I didn't want to try to fix him. I didn't care anything about
which
whatever.
Which is a temptation that people can can go down.
It just simply was, let's accept him for like who he is. Yep. You know, he seems like a fun time, cool, like let's hang out, whatever. And I'm not gonna let my morals, and I didn't like go down, you know. Right. And so so it was just like that. But then it's like getting stuck in that same position of like getting cheated on, and like and then some drama, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I want nothing to do with this at all. Yeah. Like and like I said, oh god.
I was just gonna say, you brought that up earlier about like it's like I don't even care. I just want to know why. And like this may seem like a weird parallel, but like I used to serve tables whenever I was younger for like 6 years, and I remember, like, I've said this several times. You'd serve a table, and it was fantastic, and blah, 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 blah. Cut to the chase. You don't get a tip, right? And I used to tell Margaret, like, I'm not even mad. You know? Like, I just want to know, like, what was the thought process here? Like, whenever you went to go check out your check, and it was $120, and you've been telling me for an hour and a half that I've been doing great, and you haven't wanted for a single thing, and you went to fill out the check. I just want to know, like, is that normal to you that you don't tip? Right. Is this like what you do everywhere you go?
Yeah.
Did I actually do something? Like, I'm not even upset, really. Yes. I'm just like, why?
No, exactly. And that was my thing too, it was like, that's why I was just like, I was angry in the moment about it because like I didn't pursue this. Yeah. And like,
what was the point going through all this bullshit for
right. And also there was a moment where literally he sat on this couch and I said something, and if he would have just been like, you know what, actually I don't feel that way about those views, so like this isn't gonna work, I would have been like, oh, like thank you for being honest, like that. Cool. Instead he was like, what did he say? It was so smug. It was like that's the goal, like that's the dream, or something like dumb like that. And I was like, I'm so glad we're like on the same page. What part of I'm so glad we're on the same page did you not understand?
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying? Which is the same page for everyone listening, is don't sleep with other people. And also, like, I'm not being sexually active until marriage. So like, you know what I mean?
That's the dream. That's crazy.
Like,
that's a wild response.
Right? And so it was just one of those things of like, like we said you're cool with that. When clearly you weren't. There would have been no judgment. I don't care like enough.
What's the point? Why are we doing this fucking pony ride?
Exactly.
Like, what's going on here?
And so that's where people are so dumb, because it comes back to communication, and they don't want people to not like them or not feel like that they didn't do their best, or I don't know, whatever it is. But I am just like, literally, you can come at me with anything and I'll take it under advisement. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna like whatever. But again, it's at the end of the day of like, just be open about, like, just say what you want to say. Yeah. Like, if you don't like blondes, then I don't think it's going to work out. You know what I mean?
No, you know what? They're okay. I mean, but that's what
I'm saying. Like, don't try to convince yourself.
Why not just be like, you know what? Honestly, it's not my thing.
But just be like, it's not your thing. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a man hater against all blondes. You have your right to say whatever you want.
It's not that big a deal.
Exactly.
What's the point wasting everybody's time?
Yes, and that's why I felt like, that's why I got so angry, because that was like on the anniversary when Wes passed away. Like, there were so many things that like that day just accumulated up, that I was like, bro, this is a waste of time.
You found out about this stuff on the same day?
Yeah.
On the anniversary?
Yes.
That's wild.
And that was like me driving to Chattanooga being like, this is a fresh start. This morning I woke up, I did my check-in, I look great. I got, my clients in. I felt on top of the world. Yeah, and I'm going to see this guy who, crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then like
he almost got his brakes cut.
Literally,
that was crazy.
Yes.
You picked the wrong day.
But that's what I'm saying, that like I'm sitting here taking it as a sign of like, I'm moving forward. I'm so proud of myself. Like, this is great. Not thinking about Wes at all, really. Just being like, like I'm out there. And then to that night, then tell me the things and whatever. I'm like, dude.
Well, but you know why.
Yes, exactly.
I mean? That was like, hey, whoa, no.
Right.
Definitely not going like from that perspective. Yeah. Like, we're not doing this.
But that's what I'm saying, that became like an inconsideration, or like, being so inconsiderate of someone's feelings and grief and loss. And I hope that he never has to experience that. But it's like, that was kind of like, spitting on the grave. Like,
oh my God. Yeah. That's incredibly like.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, like I said, people, but again, they don't care about other people. They say they do. They say they whatever. But when it really comes down to brass tacks.
That's what I was going to say sometimes they do. But at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do, what's best for
right.
them, what they feel is best for them.
Yeah.
Every time.
And like, like I said, again,
that's okay. Like,
yeah,
to some degree, like, okay, like I'm going to do what's best for me and my family.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're all like, I can still be good with everybody while doing that.
Right.
It's fine.
But there's also a way to go about it.
There's absolutely a balance.
And there should have been a phone call that morning.
Oh my God.
And then, like something but again, when it comes to Thanksgiving, the food you put on your plate, in your mouth, whatever, is for you. Okay. You do not have to impress your aunt. You do not have to make sure that somebody is happy that you ate their casserole. Again, if you are gluten sensitive or you are celiac or whatever, bring your own food. Make your own stuff. If you're in if you're in a prep or whatever, bring your meal preps. I've done that before.
My grandmother has celiac. She always brings her own food.
Yeah, like that's fine. You don't have to explain anything to anyone. If you're on a diet, if you're doing a program, cool. You don't have to talk about it. People will want to talk about it. You can redirect the conversation. What I've always said, and my tools have been that I pull from my toolbox are, I'm just living my healthy lifestyle, or I say, like I enjoyed my breakfast, with the family and stuff like that. Like now I'm kind of watching the rest of the day, that's fine. Like again, or sometimes
I even care.
And sometimes I don't even say anything. Like sometimes I'm like, whatever. And again,
I don't think I've ever walked up to somebody and like cared what they had.
But it's a conversation piece.
No, I mean,
it's
I know
like
I'm just saying, like, it's just crazy to me that somebody would actually give somebody a hard time because they brought their own.
And that's the thing is, if you feel pressured or anything like that, like you guys, again, it's on you and you know how you're going to feel. And so if you genuinely don't want the cupcakes, but they're sitting there and everyone's telling you to eat them, don't eat them. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I'd rather you save it for something you actually want to eat and enjoy your holiday. And I will say this too, I've done the research with it and whatever, but like for all the people and my clients who've done it, getting movement in the day of Thanksgiving will significantly change the way that your body feels, how you feel mentally, just because again, endorphins, movement, sweat, all the things, right? But also if you roll out of bed and you have a slice of pie, okay, you can choose to do that. That's fine. But immediately blood sugar is going to spike. You're going to start wanting to crave the pie more. You're probably going to have the whole pie before you even leave out the door. Then you're going to go to families and then you're going to have more. You're
nervous about that already.
Yeah. And you're just going to have more and more and more of it. And you're going to feel sick. Mm-hmm. So that's why I always say, start out your day. Usually I've always done like a fasted cardio moment, just to sweat, feel good. And then I will eat a meal. But you could go for just a walk, or you could just like eat your meal first one and then go for a strength workout. You could do a turkey trot. I've done that. I've done Move Fit for the turkey trot as well. Like, go run, go walk, whatever, but just start your day off like that. Then you want to have some post-fuel carbs. Yeah. Have that pumpkin bread, have that, croissant, have that whatever, enjoy it. Okay. Like, again, still get your water in. Like you're going to drink more water.
A little bit of balance, baby. Like, that's all we need.
Exactly. So that's what I say. Like at the end of the day, if you need support, I'm always here. You can message me on Instagram. You can, if you're a client, of course, I'm always available. But like, it's one of those things where do not message me the day after you've weighed yourself. That's insignificant. I'm going to ignore all of those texts because it's irrelevant. Because you're going to have, you know what I'm saying?
I know that.
Unless you're just staying on a plan that you've always had and you don't celebrate, then like that's different, right? But again, y'all know when your check-ins are. Y'all know when we're doing everything. Don't set yourself up for failure. Just get back on it. So like, again, if you want to choose to have leftovers like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay, then Monday, start fresh. Mm-hmm. If you're like, Thursday's it, and then when it comes midnight, I'm done, that's great too. Friday, go have a workout, whatever you got to do. However you choose to enjoy your holidays, that's what's so beautiful about your healthy lifestyle journey is that, you truly, you guys, like those days in the grand scheme of it don't matter. Okay. Like whether you don't move or you do move or whatever, it is all of the other days of the year.
It's still just one day.
And that is why I prioritize and tell my clients that like when we have a healthy lifestyle regimen, this is why you have it, so that you can go and enjoy these days without fear and without freaking out and whatever.
I think that's an important point. Like you put on all that work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like go have a damn piece of pie. It's all right.
Yes,
it's
exactly. Okay. And that's the thing too, is like, I don't even care if you have the whole pie as long as you don't eat it in one sitting and get sick and feel miserable. Yeah.
And that's just because you don't want you to feel miserable.
Yeah. And so like, and that's the other thing, the last thing I'll say is that, wear something you feel good in, not something you're trying to squeeze into. Like wear something that makes you feel your best and exudes confidence and, enjoy it. And that's all that anybody could ask. And like I said, I've done it every which way, you guys. I've done that where I've worn the tight outfits and then it's like, oh, that was miserable. Or I've done it where I have not ate or not worked out before and felt miserable. Or I've gone and I've done the meal preps and stuff and that's been fine. And I've done it where I've ate the food that was there and that's been fine. And because I don't have celiac or gluten intolerance or whatever. But again, you just have to decide what's best for you. So on that note, Logan, what is the main thing you're looking forward to food wise? What's your go-to?
Oh gosh. I'm going to keep talking while I turn my camera back on.
Okay.
But I don't really like turkey that much.
Okay.
Is that weird? I don't know if that's weird.
No, it's not weird.
I don't really like turkey. Like I'll have ham.
Yeah.
At Thanksgiving.
Okay, but what kind of ham?
Like you talking like honey or like that kind of. I mean, I like the ham that has that sweet like ring around the outside of it.
Absolutely
I guess it's like
not.
a honey ham.
Absolutely not. Like Cindy Lou Who like spiral ham where you're like cutting it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
you don't
not.
mess with that? You don't mess with that?
Nope. That is the grossest thing to me.
I will have that 10 times out of 10 over dry ass turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh well, no. But here's the option. So for me, it is a picnic ham. Okay, is what it's called. Picnic ham. It falls apart and you eat it like it's like shredded, like literally. It is so good.
Listen, I'll take all of that. I'll take all of that. I just don't really like turkey.
So yeah. So the turkey, I'm like, especially because when I was always eating white meat anyway, that it was like annoying. So
yeah, you're like
yeah. So no, it's the same thing unless it was the dark or whatever. Yeah. So what I do is mom makes a pumpkin bread, which I love. I love pumpkin bread. Can mess that up. It's so good. And then but we'll do like a picnic ham and like croissants. Like I love that. That's a vibe. Only time I eat picnic ham is going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then or ham in general. And so so we'll do that, a pumpkin bread, and then the other thing is like pretty much then it's kind of like downhill from there. Not to be mean, but I don't really care for like casseroles or anything like that.
I'm not a big casserole.
So really, I told mom, I was like, if you can make like some Brussels sprouts with like some like veggies, cool. I'll do that, and then probably if they have the picnic ham there, I'll have the rest then. But if not, I'll just do turkey and then probably some form of potatoes. Okay.
Yeah.
But
this is a really boring one, but I love rolls.
I do love rolls too.
Rolls, like
I do.
General.
Yes. I never eat bread like that. So I do love rolls. I will say that my biggest flex is that, I mean, hopefully my girl gets them done because she's kind of slacking, but we'll see. But charcuterie boards. Mm-hmm. I love a charcuterie board because, and you had them at your wedding and I was like, yes.
Margaret makes one like every weekend for football games.
She's domestic. She's awesome.
She's
but that's what I love, like the whole prosciutto and like that kind of thing. So I'm super down for like that for like an appetizer. And then like I said, then having kind of that meal, the like mashed potatoes,
potatoes of any and all varieties.
Yeah, it's straight and everything.
And then I also love banana pudding. I'm not a big pie person, but I love banana pudding.
No.
Yeah. If it's
banana
made the right way
pudding.
in particular,
Wow.
I love it. My stepmom makes it. She's like the only thing that she makes, but she makes a banana pudding with the like the little cookie crackers.
I know you're gonna say that.
That has like the chessman, right? Yeah, like on the top, and it gets better like as the days go by. Like you let it sit for a few days, and it gets better and better and better.
Well,
each time.
like low key too. I'm gonna get some alpha cookies, so I'm gonna have like.
Oh, also, I tried a few years ago. This is kind of funny. I tried a cherry cobbler. I think it was a cobbler or a cherry, and I loved it so much that I just didn't stop eating. Like I ate so
and
much of it.
That's a good point though, is that like guys, I always say that make sure there's some sort of protein present where we have it. Like if I'm gonna have the pumpkin bread, I'm gonna make sure I have some eggs as well, or like some type of protein, because it'll help fill you up, but also it's going to help stop that sugar rush versus if you just were eating the pie, like, and whatever.
Yeah, I haven't eaten a bite of cobbler since that Thanksgiving because I ate so much for 3 days. I ate this cobbler. Like I tore this thing up and I can't even look at cobbler now.
Yeah. And that's what
like
I'm saying is that we don't want to get to the point where we just like absolutely hate everything because we overindulge in it. But what I will say too is that a lot of times it's the stress eating that people have with this because they're nervous about it. And I really do get it. And I do want to say this and then we'll be done. But I do want to say that like I truly do understand now, especially going back to holidays where you're going to see family that you once were a smaller size and now you are a bigger size. And I get that, but also it's irrelevant because they should love you regardless if they're your family. And you don't need to comment on your extra weight that you've put on, even though it might be tempting to try to explain it, or, and again, I can go through a whole sympathy thing of my eye and this and that, and I have these problems and I have this, and this is why I, am having trouble. Or like, I did this because like, I almost feel like I had to defend myself kind of last year. Like I wanted to be like, I'm bigger right now because, like because I'm putting on weight for bodybuilding, or like whatever both years I did bodybuilding was, of like trying to explain it.
Before they could ask.
When it's like, oh, I'm eating this way because I'm putting on muscle. Right. It's irrelevant. Like they should know that by now. And if they don't, then they don't follow any of my stuff and listen to anything I just say. So like, who cares? Yeah. But like, that's the whole thing of your bodies can fluctuate. Yeah. It's okay.
Well, that's what I said earlier. Like if some, like, I don't know. This is how I am. Like, don't take, this is just my 2 cents.
Yeah. This
is how I am. I can be to a fault to the point that like I don't like I'll like if I have issues with family members, I just won't talk to them, like stuff like that. Like I'm just,
right, yeah.
I could be bad about that,
to
some degree, but I don't think enough people are good about that.
Yeah,
and like to this point, my thing is like, fuck off.
Right.
Like, what are you talking? Well, like go away.
Like politely.
Why are you? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, walk off. Yeah,
but like, why are you?
Yeah.
Looking at my plate, bro. Like, keep walking.
Yes.
What is going on here?
And exactly.
And they don't know, like you said, you could be bodybuilding. You could be, there's a million different things. If somebody's coming with you well-intentioned and they're just like, hey, you put on some muscle. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And you want to have a conversation with them, that's fine. But like this idea that like your aunt that's supposed to be like your loving aunt that you never see, and like the first thing you do when you walk in the room, she's like, oh my goodness, look at it. It's like, if that person's like that, then like, what? Go away. Like,
and that's the thing too, is like, it's challenging. We're not saying this is easy. I get it. We've been there. It's just coming from experience. Like you can either sit there and harbor resentment and eat the cake or eat the, pie or whatever because you're stressed eating it, or you could simply let go of the resentment and just have a clean slate with it. You know what I mean? And don't fear the conversation going into it and assume it, because you never know what people are going to say, and people are already worried about themselves anyway.
Projection. Remember, we're talking about projection. They're projecting too.
So just enjoy it. Love your body throughout. I went and bought a few new outfits, and because it's like, I'm not going to try to fit into, not, even though I could wear my old sweaters, it's not like that, but like, I'm not going to try to do whatever. So I got this like cute outfit. Like I'm very excited to wear it. Like, and I feel no type of way about any of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, go in, have fun, and remember, it's just a day. It's not going to make or break you. And yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. The last thing I wanted to say, and I was going to say this many times earlier because we talked about a lot of transforming and not judging yourself and forgiving and all this kind of thing. One of my favorite phrases for that is that the oak is not ashamed of having been an acorn. Oh, I like that. That's good. You know what I mean? Like a 250-year-old gigantic oak tree was just a little acorn at one point. Right. Like the oak is not ashamed of having been an acorn. Yeah. I love that. And again, guys, you're more than part of it. You got to be an acorn to be an oak. You're more than your body, like show up, enjoy the time, have good conversations, hug your loved ones. Remember, life is not given. Not each day is given. So I really hope that you have a safe, if you're traveling, a safe Thanksgiving, and just enjoy it. And until next time. Oh my gosh.